So why is it that you see a lot of NBA players wearing ankle braces and ankle supports? Well, obviously we've spoken about this in other videos where ankle sprain is the number one injury that happens within NBA basketball players and basketball players. So it's no wonder they're trying to find ways and means to minimize this injury. Obviously you've got the high top shoes, which is one of the things that was utilized to try and achieve this. But obviously ankle sprains still occur, and therefore these braces and these supports are things that the players do wear. So the first thing is, what type of braces are there? So the first one is a compressive brace, basically, or a compressive support more to the point, which is just elastic material. It doesn't offer a lot of support, but it does offer some. One of the big things that it does is it provides a lot of biofeedback. Because it's on the skin and it's stretchy, it's giving you more information to the nervous system about the position your ankle is in. So it helps with, therefore, stability with more of an active tinge versus a static or passive kind of element of it stopping you from moving. So you still have full range of movement. It's very minimalistic, it's not very obtrusive, so it's not a problem for players to wear, and therefore you'll probably find a lot of players do wear this. The next type is a lace-up type of brace, and basically this is like semi-rigid type of support. So it laces up, so it's a lot stronger, it's made of firmer material, it isn't that elastic, it doesn't have any sort of metal particularly in it or anything like that, nothing that's solid and hard. But because it tightens up and it's a firmer material, it does give more support than the compression type. Obviously this type also is used very commonly as well, because it adds that little bit of extra support, but it still allows all movement to occur, but it does obviously give some passive support as well. So that is something that they'll wear also. Another one is a hinged brace. Now, as it sounds, it's a hinge, and the ankle tends to sprain, well, it usually does sprain from side to side movements. But you want forward and back movement because, of course, to jump you've got to be able to plantar flex and dorsiflex the ankle and so on and so forth. So a hinged brace has stability from side to side, but nothing from front to back, so it limits that side to side mobility. It's a lot more bulky, it's a lot more obtrusive, obviously it does limit movement from side to side, so that could be a problem or feel like a problem for some players. So this is something which gives a lot more support and wouldn't be used as commonly because not everyone needs that support. The final type of brace is basically one which you wouldn't see in the NBA, which is just a rigid brace. And a rigid brace is exactly as it sounds. It's completely rigid, it doesn't allow movement to occur, obviously you get minute movement in there, and this is normally for immobilization for like grade 3 injuries and such like injuries, to immobilize, to stop movement occurring. Because you wouldn't be able to run or walk or move properly with this on. So this would never be used in the NBA or in basketball. So as we mentioned earlier, as we went through that list, these type of, except for that last one, are used all the way through in terms of in basketball in the NBA. Now, most will probably find that you don't realize it because it might be covered under their socks or whatever, but they might be wearing a compression type brace or compression type support. Then the next common one that you'll see is very common actually is lace-up supports. They used to use tape a lot, but they found after the first 20 minutes of playing that it no longer was doing the effect. Whereas with lace-up you can tighten it up and it stays in good supporting elements throughout the game. Now there are rare occasions where you'll have a player who's very, very injury prone around that ankle, and of course they'll need to have a hinge support, hinge brace to enable them to play without just injuring it all the time. Now, it probably does limit them a little bit in how the ankle moves from side to side, but it's an offset between that. One player that is well known to wear this hinge type of brace is Steph Curry, and we all know that he is injury prone, especially around the ankles. So of course, anything that can keep him on the court and playing is obviously very good. We know his outside shooting obviously is very key, and obviously that still needs lateral movement, but it's not quite the same as other positions might be. So how effective actually are these supports and braces to actually prevent ankle injury and ankle sprain? Well, it looks like they're very, very effective. Some studies here, which I'll list at the end, highlight that they are actually very, very good. For example, there was a reduction of ankle sprains by 69% with the use of an ankle brace. Another study found the use of lace-up ankle braces reduced the incidence, but not the severity of ankle sprains. And another study found fewer contact injuries occurred among those who wore braces. So as you can see, ankle braces, there are many types and there are many options. Dependent on your need, it's going to depend on what you would use. Like I say, if you aren't someone who's prone to it but you want to shore it up, then obviously more of the compression type would be a better option. But if you're very prone to having it happen to you, then you'd want to be going for more the hinge type. But again, it's got to be personal preference as to what works for you, what doesn't interfere with your ability to play, and obviously which minimises the injury the best for you. Obviously there is more to it than just an ankle brace or support, and as a physio this is something that we deal with all the time. Obviously there's plenty of exercise and various other things you can do as well, but I thought I'd do a video on ankle braces and supports, particularly related to basketball and the NBA. So that concludes this video, and I'll catch you next time.